Do you ever find yourself wondering why there's so much sadness and senseless pain in this world? I mean, if there is a God, why doesn't he do something about it? Is it that God's not strong enough to do something about it? Is it that he doesn't care enough to do something about it? If you're like me, this isn't a philosophical question. This is personal. Each of us carries an unexplainable loss or disappointment, or maybe even a prayer that seems like it's gone unanswered. Sometimes, for you and I, a question like this comes up in a church-like space. Why? Well, you're not alone. This has been the question of theologians and some of the smartest people for millennia. And for people like you and I, we're just trying to get our arms around this question of this problem of evil. So as you think about this question, I'd like to offer two things that you can reflect upon. The first one is this. Through all of the writings and all of the conversation, scholars agree that this is an open question. Not that there isn't an answer, just not a philosophical answer. The philosopher Solomon, who was also the king of Israel, looked at the world and the evil in the world and called it absurd. And that may be the best response to evil in this world, that it's absurd or wildly irrational. And that is why it is difficult to try to use rationale to explain the irrational. Some atheists respond and say, "Ha! This is the reason you shouldn't believe in God." However, a gap in understanding is not a reason to end a relationship. It is just that, a gap that needs or desires to be filled. However, setting God aside leaves the atheist with a bigger problem that they tried to solve by setting God aside. Because the question becomes, without a God in this world, why is there any good? And if there is no good, why are we asking this question in the first place? And the second response is just that, a response. Amazingly, through all of Scripture, you do not get an answer to suffering. You just get God's response to it. The story of Scripture teaches how God entered into this world to experience evil himself, and he did so in the person of Jesus. Jesus himself experiences the abuse, the misunderstanding, the cruelty, the hunger, the isolation, the loneliness that all of us experience. And he chose every one of our sufferings, even to the point of death. See, God knows that when you experience evil, it's not an intellectual answer that you seek. You desire empathy, love, understanding, and acceptance. Jesus came to offer this not just to those who were with him during his earthly ministry, but to anyone who believes in him now. After his death, he made a way forward to lead this world away from evil, towards a life of love, of joy, and peace, not devoid of suffering, but in the face of it. But if you're asking questions like this, you likely have other questions that are unanswered, like, does heaven really exist? And for more information on that question, click or tap on this video. As you go, God be with you.